Okay, we are finally back. Welcome to Full Count, ladies and gentlemen. I had a couple of other ideas in my mind that I wanted to do, but just I was being driven by passion today. So, what we're going to do instead is I'm going to give a little, spiel about how Matt Chapman is an underrated player in my opinion, and I'm going to explain why. Okay. Hmm. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me as a baseball fan, not even just as an A's fan, but as a baseball fan. It's frustrating to see just whenever anybody talks about Matt Chapman, everybody just, oh, he plays really good defense. His defense is really good. He's got a really strong arm. He makes good throws. He makes all the plays over at third base. And that's great. And that's fantastic. And he does. And I honestly would at this point call him the best defensive player in the league right now. That's not even a question in my mind. The problem for me comes into the form of it's all they talk about in regards to him as if that's the only thing that he does. The dude is an absolute machine at the plate. Like, I'm going to pull up the stats right now. So far, at the time of this recording, at 1:34 in the afternoon, on June the 3rd, Matt Chapman is batting .272 with 35 RBIs and 16 home runs, and still the only thing that everybody ever talks about is his defense. Well, you know what? We're not through a full season yet. We've seen a couple of months into this year of baseball. Whatever. But let's take a look at his numbers from last year as well. Let's see here. Yeah. So in the 2018 season, he batted .278. He hit 24 home runs and he batted in 68 runs. He finished in top 10 in MVP voting. And still everybody only ever talks about his defense. And again, it's not unwarranted to talk a lot about his defense. His defense is fantastic. I am not trying to say that it isn't. I couldn't do that. That's not fair. But do people just not know that he also hits? He also hits. He's a great stick at the plate. Constant guy that you see in the top three of the A's lineup because he hits, he drives in runs. He's, maybe not on the same level as Cody Bellinger, Christian Yelich because, no, those guys are going off, and I don't think Matt Chapman comes anywhere close to that at the plate, but he's no slouch at the dish either. Usually when I think about a player who's just, people are quick to talk about his defense all the time, and nobody ever says anything about their offense, it gives me the impression that they're talking about a guy who bats in the low 200s, doesn't really have a lot of pop in the bat. You just kind of, you have him in your lineup purely for his defense and his defense only. The dude just doesn't hit that good. It just gives me that same kind of vibe, and I know that nobody's probably directly saying that, but that's just the impression that I get, and it's frustrating because, he's a complete, that's the thing. I'm going to compare him to Arenado again, and sure, maybe that's not a fair comparison to make because Arenado's had more time in the league, and I get that, but here's the thing, yes, a lot of people do talk about how great of a fielder Arenado is. I would say he was the best defensive fielder in the National League, but here's the other thing too. They also talk about how great of a stick he is, and I know that some people try to discredit that by saying, oh, McCoors Field, but here's the thing, he plays half of the games every single season away from Coors Field, and he's still putting up amazing numbers. The dude can hit, and everybody knows that he can hit. So why is it so different when it's Matt Chapman then? I'm not, and again, this is not me trying to say that Chapman is putting up numbers anywhere close to the same kind that Arenado is putting up. That is not fair to say. It's not, that's not founded on anything just yet. We haven't seen enough of Matt Chapman to really make that comparison just yet. Give it a couple of years, and if he keeps putting up numbers the way that he has been, then, sure, what? It's still not correct. Arenado's still going to be the clear pick. If you're going to come to me and ask me who I think is a better hitter between Arenado and Chapman, I'm going to tell you Arenado every single time. That's just, the truth of it. But even still, it's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me as a baseball fan, not just as an A's fan, that his hitting just seems to fly under so many fans' radar. And it's especially frustrating because, I watch a lot of the games. I see Matt Chapman hit. I see him hit in clutch moments. I see him deliver when he needs to deliver. There was a stretch where he went like 3 straight games with a home run or something, and I know that Chapman's not necessarily, you know, the most dangerous power hitter in the entire A's lineup. I mean, that probably still goes to Chris Davis, let's be real, but, dude's bat 247 every single year, but no, I mean, Matt Chapman had 24 home runs in all of 2018, and like we're about like a month off from the All-Star break right now, and dude already has 16. Like he's on pace to hit more home runs this season than he did last year. Like this dude is a stud with the stick in his hands. Why does nobody talk about how good of a hitter he is? Just why? I know that this was more of a ranty kind of, thing, and probably not the best look when it's been my first episode in over a month. But again, I was driven by passion. I wanted to get this out. I wanted to, vent and put it on my platform and, hope that it reaches some people who agree with me and, can maybe like drive the conversation a little further, just whatever kind of thing. And we'll probably, I'll see if I can get out a couple of those other ideas for topics for, full count episodes, whatever. I just needed to, just, and to wrap this up, I'm just going to say, vote for Matt Chapman to be the AL starter at third base. The dude is playing out of his mind. He deserves it, and other third basemen in the American League deserve it as well. Alex Bregman is having a great season so far, yada, yada. I get that, but just, those guys are going to get in anyway. Give it to someone who deserves it. Give it to someone who probably won't have that same chance that the rest of these guys have. Give it to Matt Chapman. He's a great player, and not just because of his defense. The dude swings the bat very well, as I've tried to make abundantly clear throughout this video, and I hope that somebody agrees with me by the end of it. Thank you for your time, and I will... I'll see everybody on the next episode of Full Count.